Hi, Matt. I am going through your information that you should include in the Holocaust camp presentation. So I hope that you're doing okay and that you've had a great Christmas. I know I saw a picture of your family on Facebook. Everybody looks good. So, anyway, um, here we go. I actually gave you Chelmno or Kulmhof. You're going to find that it's got different people refer to it differently. It's just because people from different languages are giving it a different name. Okay, so it's their version of the name. So when you see that that is the situation, that's just what's going on. So I gave you Kulmhof or Chelmno. And you're going to find that it's actually easier than the others because it's a very specific type of camp. And so, as far as like being worried about a lot of this extra stuff, you aren't going to have it because a lot of it's not necessarily there. So, let's just, I know this is going to take a little while, but I just want you to know what you're doing. And so, I'm sorry if the video drives you crazy, but as we're gonna work through this and see what you think. And I just think that it's really doable. So here we go. You're gonna need the basic history of the camp. You're gonna be able to find that super easy. This should include when it was established, how long it was operational, the general purpose of the camp, general statistics, all of that you can find. And you can put that on a slide or two. So I think that that's going to be very doable for you. The next part, start with a map. Okay, you can do that. And it shows the general location of the camp. Discuss the diagram of the camp. So the setup. So you're going to want to like put the diagram on a slide and be able to talk about it, like what happened here, what happened there in the camp. So you need to understand the process of the camp. And so that's what you're going to demonstrate. So it goes on to say, try to find documents that are related to the work that was done at that camp. You are going to find that at Chelmno, you don't want to make a mistake and use Sobibor information or Auschwitz information. Specifically focus on Chelmno because it's a very distinctive camp. So don't just take general information, but it's also easy to find. So be very, very conscientious about that. And if you can find any records of the number that were killed there or any memos, incorporate that. Who is the commandant? All of that stuff is going to just pop for you. Just create a slide, identify who they are. Give us a little bit of the Nazi side of the story. And I know you've been gone multiple weeks at different times. So I don't even know, like, if you ever watched The Conspiracy, I just don't even know that. But when we did watch Conspiracy, we could see that they had spoken, even before the Wannsee conference, that they had utilized ways to kill people. And they mentioned at Chelmno what they were doing. So give us some of that information. So anyway, if you go through that checklist in that second part, where it says start with a map, you should be able to do all of that really easily. You just have to do it. That's all it is. You just sit down and have to do it. And I get that you might not want to, or it seems overwhelming. I'm feeling it too. I get it. I've been doing a lot. And I know that it gets to be much, and I'm sorry for that. I am sorry. All right. So then in that next, which groups would be chosen to come to the camp? Basically, who did they target? Like, where did they get the people that they killed? You have a death camp. You do not have a concentration camp. You have a location that was set up to kill people. That's what you have. And so where did they get these people? That's what you have to tell us. What ghettos did the camp service? That's the same thing. If they came from a ghetto or if they came from a town, if they were a specific group of people, who did they target? You just don't go, well, I mean, in some cases they grab people off the street, but you just don't, walk down the streets of Poland and just start killing people. Who did they kill? So you need to talk about that. As far as the reception, how did it go? Like, how did they actually get people they killed them in trucks. That's what you got. You are the only one that had gas vans, right? So you're going to have to talk about, like, how did they get people to the camp and then into the gas van? Now, this is not hard, and the information is just going to pop. It's just I listed a bunch of things on here so that everyone included them, because what I'm finding is that people are willing to minimize the work that they're doing, and as a result, we're not getting very complete pictures of things. And I just want to make sure that what you do is worthy of a good grade and very complete. So I identified things that you need to incorporate in there. How did they use dogs? That's also going to be easy because, they use dogs to get people into the back of the van because otherwise the dogs would attack. So, I mean, to tell us that's not going to be hard. A lot of this it will just take some time, but it's just the way that works. What type of work might they do? So what did the prisoners do there? Because in the different camps, some of the worst jobs were given to the prisoners. So tell us, if you were a prisoner and you were given work to do, what is it that you would be asked to do? Take us through the camp itself. What does it look like? Because the camps are so, in some ways, have some similar patterns, but in other ways, some of them are so complex and very different. And so yours is not that way. So I think yours is going to be okay. Where there's sub camps, look on a map. They're going to be there. If they're there, you're going to be able to tell if there are. Can you find anyone with an escape story? Did someone survive? Again, by looking, it shouldn't take, this is going to take a little time. I get it, but I know sometimes you just have to do it. How was it liberated? Now, it wasn't, okay, but it closes. So how was it closed? Okay, so when did they determine to close it? How did they close it down? Why did they close it down? It got closed, right? So why? How? Tell us about that. So any survivor or eyewitness accounts, again, that's just another person's story of what they saw there. And they could piggyback between the escapees and the eyewitness accounts. So you could kind of marry that into one. Did you find any acts of kindness? Sometimes eyewitnesses or survivors are going to tell of someone who did something to help them. So if we ask the Bielski brothers who helped them, they would have a series of people that gave them food, provided them clothing, maybe gave them medicine. So if there's any stories like that, that's what you just need to tell us. And then each person within a group should end the presentation. And then because you're working alone, you're just ending the presentation with a brief discussion as far as what you found interesting and maybe, touched your heart in one way or another, or gave you a gut punch, like, oh my gosh. Oh, so what is it that gave you some kind of a visceral feeling, right? Visceral meaning that it brought a physical reaction to your body when you realized what it was saying. That's visceral. So honestly, I think if you address what's here, you can do it. With Chelmno, it's definitely doable. Definitely doable. You don't have as much information to shuffle through as, let's say, the group who has Auschwitz or Bergen-Belsen. So I honestly think that maybe keep what you do simple, but go through and give us what you can in each section. The camp itself will limit what you can put in. And so I'm hoping that this makes sense to you. when you're looking at this, so you're creating a slideshow. You get that. Create a pamphlet. If you want to skip the pamphlet, I can live with that. Put the information on the slideshow, skip the pamphlet. Give them a 5-point general knowledge question. What makes this camp unique? It's going to have gas vans. That's what's going to make it unique, right? It was one of the earliest camps. So how they, what they use to kill people with, like the gas itself. How did they do that? What did they do with the bodies? How did they, there's going to be some just basic knowledge. Your length of time, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's 15. But honestly, if you just keep plugging away at this, put the information, and if you actually read the articles that you are putting in there, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. And we won't, so don't get hung up on the minutes. Don't get hung up on the minutes. Just be sure that you give us a really solid view of Chelmno. That would be great. And yeah, it's 200 points. So it's kind of a big deal. And so I can't pare it down too much because it's a big deal. And I want you to do a good job. So, you can, I think you can do this. Actually, I know you can do it. Does it take a little time? Yep, it does. I wish I could help you more than that, but it deserves to take that much time. I mean, thousands upon thousands of people died there. And it's okay that we take a little bit of time. So I hope this is helpful. I'm trying not to be, I don't want to come off like a jerk. I just know that this is 200 points. You need to do 200 points of work. And, with Chelmno, you can do a good job, and it doesn't, if you just start looking, you will understand what I mean. So, again, it's very different than Mauthausen or Majdanek or Bergen-Belsen or Auschwitz, Birkenau. It's very different. And so I think it's doable. So if you have some specific questions, please feel free to ask. I will be checking my email, and I'll get back to you. But I get it. I'm a little burnt out too, but I just keep working. So I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to fix any of it. So anyway, I hope that you have a great New Year's, and we'll see you next. I hope that you stay healthy. We'll see you next week. So stay warm. Hopefully the weather straightens out.